Good morning, everybody. Ian from RTO here. Welcome to Thursday. Welcome to drizzly, yucky Northampton. Thursdays is always the day we do Then and Now, or as someone said, it's just an excuse to go through someone's discography without ranking them. It's not a far comment, really. So today we'll be looking at Bon Jovi, American rock band, and I'm going to be honest, today might be the most brutal review that I've done so far. I might upset a few Bon Jovi fans today, but at the end of the day, this is my opinion. They are a great band. I've seen them a few times, and I did enjoy them. But as you will find out, there are reasons why I've sort of gone offline with them a little bit. But they were part of my childhood, well, my teens, and I enjoyed their music. So, Bon Jovi, formed in New Jersey, 1983. Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, put a band together. They made a few albums and a few changes, but we're going to concentrate really on the debut album and like the latest album. So Bon Jovi is the self-titled studio album released on the 21st of January 1984, produced by Tony Bon Jovi and Lance Quinn. And the band that wrote and performed on this album were John Bon Jovi, who was lead guitar and vocals, Richie Sambora, guitar and vocals, Alec John Such, bass and vocals, Tico Torres, and David Rashborn. We've had Hugh MacDonald, who would appear later, played bass on Runaway. Roy Britton played bass on Runaway. Chuck Berge from Rainbow to Fame did some additional drums, and Doug Katos did some additional keyboards. Okay then, let's have a look at these songs. First song on the debut album is the classic song Runaway. I love that keyboard start at the beginning. It's got a nice catchy tune, and I've seen them perform this a few times, and it's still a very special song to die-hard Bon Jovi fans. Next track, Roulette. Typical sounding song from the mid-80s. Got a catchy hook though. Great drumming from Tico on this. Some nice harmonies as well. That's one thing this band were good at, harmonies. Very, very good track. Third track, She Don't Know Me. This is the only track that's not written by members of the band on this album. A good track, got a nice feel to it, upbeat, very good track. Shot Through the Heart. Now this one has never been one of my favourite tracks on the album. The only thing that's good, it's got a nice guitar solo by Richie Sambora. I just thought it was too commercial, too radio friendly. It's just my personal opinion, because I know there's people out there that love that track. Love Lies, again, it's got a really catchy hook to it. You just can't help like this one. You know, I mean, I play this album quite a lot because it's sort of just nostalgic. Really good track. Let me get my favourite track on the album, Breakout. The drumming from Tico Torres on this is fantastic. It's got a heavy drum beat. Again, it's got some great harmonies. Again, a catchy tune. Burning for Love. I've got an issue with this. Some of the guitar solo is straight copied of Ritchie Blackmore's Highway Star guitar solo. That dee-dee-dee-dee. It's literally he literally doesn't change any. I think naughty Mr. Sambora, don't nick stuff. Doesn't spoil the track though. It is a good track, and okay, it's just that little bit and go, what were you doing? You're playing Highway Star. Stop it. Come Back. I would say this is like the start of that staple sound that Bon Jovi were known for. Got some great drumming on this, great riffs, good solid performance by John on the vocals, very, very good. Get Ready. Some great riffs on this. Ritchie Sambora, very good at these little riffs. I've heard this live on a very dodgy bootleg recorded when they were over here supporting Kiss. I think I got it off the Friday Rock show. Yes, it's quite good live. Well, when you go through the hiss and all that, but it sounds really good. Okay, that's the album, but what did everyone think about it? Well, in the UK it got to number 24. It wasn't really received by the fans as an album. AllMusic said retrospectively rated this at 3.5 stars. Leslie Matthews, who reviewed it, said the songs may be simple and the writing is prone to all cliches of that form, but the album boasts a pretty consistent hard rock attack, passionate playing and a keen sense of melody. And then years later they said this album was called the often overlooked minor gem from the early days of hair metal, and I agree with that. It is a gem. You've got to remember, take it for what it is. It was made in 1984. That was at the start of the hair metal days, and it's got some really good tracks, and it's got some tracks that I still like today. So, you know, it's up to you. In America, it was received a little bit better, but not as much as I thought it was. But I'll tell you what did help this album, especially here in the UK. They come over and supported Kiss in 1984, and they went down really well. I remember a friend going to see Kiss and saying to me, I said, what was the support band like? Because we always used to talk about what's the support band like. He said, they're called Bon Jovi, and he says, and they kicked ass. That's what he said. They were brilliant. So I said, okay, in them days you had to go and ask, can we just listen to some Bon Jovi? Have you got it? Yeah. Well, yeah. And I brought it. And okay, it is a bit cheesy now, but it is. I've still got a very soft spot for this album. Okay, let's pull it apart and give it some ranking. Okay then. Song quality. There's some really good songs on here. John Bon Jovi is a very good songwriter, and Ritchie Sambora. They wrote some really good stuff. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5 for song quality. Production. Of course, it's got the typical 1980s clean cut rock, but it's crystal clear. The drums sound good. Very, very solid sound. So again, I will give this a 4 out of 5 for production. Reception. Got a bit of a mixed reception. I think that people didn't buy the album in the drones people thought they would. They went down well on tour. They were a very good live act, and I think that's where they picked up a lot of fans. And the critics didn't mind it, so it's stuck in the middle. So I'll give for reception, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. So that gives it an RTO ranking of 11 out of 15. Not a bad score. Not a bad score at all for a album that started them on a very successful career. Right, time to get into the RTO time machine. We're going to move on 36 years to 2020 last year. And the album 2020, 15th album by Bon Jovi. It was initially set to release on the 15th of May 2020, but was pushed back due to obviously COVID-19 and came out on the October the 2nd 2020. So it's literally 12 months ago it came out. Obviously by this time the band had sort of changed a little bit. Richie Sambora had gone, so we got Phil X on guitar. Hugh McDonald, who based actually on Runaway, is now in the band. He's been with the band a long time, not as an official member, of course, because no one in the band is actually in the band. They're paid musicians. I found that out on a documentary, and I found it very bizarre. Even Richie Sambora was a hired musician. But there you go. Tico Torres is still about. David Bryan, been there for years. John Shanks, who's a producer, we played some rhythm guitar on it, and he produced it with Bon Jovi. Okay, here we go. Now this is where I might upset a few people. First track, Limitless. Very good track. Best on the album. Good rocker. Very good song, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a good album. But something happened. Track number 2, Do What You Can. It's a nice tune, really nice tune. It's a song written about the pandemic and boosting people, get that. It is a little bit self-indulgent though. And John's voice, shot to bits. He just cannot hit any high notes, and he sounded a bit flat singing this, off key, and I thought, oh dear, poor John. It just doesn't sound right, and I could have cried, because you know he had one of the best voices in rock, and he just didn't work. American Reckoning. Okay, I've got a lot of issues with this song. I have a lot of issues with artists that think they can be politicians as well. I've got nothing wrong with a protest song, but this American Reckoning is obviously about that Floyd bloke that got killed by the police and all that thing. But don't bring politics into my music, please. I like music. There's things that you don't have in music, and that's politics. Yeah, you can say your bit, but don't make it political. That song is too political for me, and I just don't like it. I understand the thing, and I've got to feel for what happened. Don't get me wrong, but that's for the politicians, not for the musicians to talk about. You could make a song about it, but don't go deep like this is. This is too deep for me. Okay, Beautiful Drug. Again, a really nice track. The musician side of Bon Jovi is tight and as good as ever. But as soon as John starts singing on this, the song's ruined. He just can't sing anymore. Or he's got to adjust his voice. Story of Love. Great song. Nice words. But I just feel that poor old John's voice is just not up to the job anymore. Let It Rain. Again, I don't want to keep having a dig at John Bon Jovi's voice, but it just it's just ordinary and flat. Lower the Flag, worst song on the album. Bloody Waters. By the time I get Bloody Water, by the time I get to this track, I can't listen to it anymore. I very rarely listen to this album purely because it just makes me upset. Brothers in Arms. For some reason they got this right. The key, they lowered the key a little bit, and John's voice sounds great on this. Absolutely great. Unbroken. Again, they sort of got it a little bit right. It's a shame because it's got some good songs on this, and it has got some bad ones as well. How did it go in the charts? Well, it got to, the fans liked it because it got to number 5 in the UK and number 19 on the Billboard, and was one of the top rank albums of the year, number 3. All Music gave it 2 and a bit stars. The Courier Mail 3, and Lord Dirt give it 2. Song quality. There are some good songs on here, but some of them are a little bit self-indulgent, so I'll give it 3 out of 5. Production, as ever, the production on this, because of the way this was recorded, it's very good, because obviously they couldn't be all in the studio together. It was sort of like passed round, and John both John Shanks and John Bon Jovi did a fine job in getting this album out. So I'll give it 4 out of 5. Good effort, chaps. Great that you got something out during COVID. Reception. It was a mixed bag again. Fans liked it, but the press didn't. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. So that gives it a grand total of 10 out of 15. So the debut album just pips it on this occasion. Okay, before we go through some of the highlights of the band, I've always said about this album, it should have been a John Bon Jovi solo album. Always said this. But I'm quite concerned about his voice. He brought out that Christmas Pogues Kirsty MacColl song, can't think of its name, and he ruined it, and he changed the words because of the political saying. No, it's a Christmas song, who cares? And it was flat as a pancake. Well, all I think they need to do is, when they write songs now, is think of John's voice. Other bands have done it. A fine example, of course, is Ian Gillan. He can't hit them high notes anymore, so they brought the tone down, and the last album, Wash, was fantastic. That's what John's got to do. But this album was, the fans are very loyal and they brought it, but I thought it was probably the worst album of Bon Jovi's career, and John Bon Jovi's. It was just terrible. I don't play it. I only played it to do this review. I think it's only about the 3rd time I've played it in 12 months. Okay then, enough of the having a negative side of things. Let's look at some positive stuff. So let's go through some of the albums. We'll go through the albums and I'll pick some of the tracks that really did it for me. So after the debut, we had 7,800 Degrees Fahrenheit. Came out in 1985. And the light's failing on us again. On here we got John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, Alex John Search, Tico Torres, and David Bryan came in. So this was his first album. Love In and Out of Love. Great track. Price of Love's alright. Only the Lonely. bit mediocre. King of the Mountain, not too bad. Silent Night's a bit naff. Tokyo Road's brilliant though. I love that. I love that start and that really good rock beat. Hardest Part of the Night, no. Always Run to You, into the Fire, Secret Dreams. I thought it was I was so looking forward to this coming out that it was a bit of a disappointment. And you thought, oh dear, they're going backwards instead of forwards. Then of course in 1986 it all changed for them completely, all over the world. In 1986 we had Slippery When Wet, Let It Rock, great track. Love that opening, great keyboard from David Bryan. Fantastic stuff. You Give Love a Bad Name, it's okay. If I don't hear it again, I'm not going to get upset about that. Living on the Prayer's the same, overplayed, played to death. Every compilation rock album's either got You Give Love a Bad Name or Living on a Prayer. Social Disease is a good song, great little rocker. Wanted Dead or Alive is a classic and it is a great song and I love it. Raise Your Hands is alright. Without Love, yeah, alright. I Die For You, nice little rocker. Never Say Goodbye, no, not for me, didn't like that much. And Wild in the Streets, great track. Then in 1988, this is what I think that this is the pinnacle of Bon Jovi actually. New Jersey 1988, saw them on this tour, and what a tour it was. Lita Ford supported them, which was pretty cool. Lay Your Hands on Me, great track, great opening at a gig, great drumming from Tico on that. Then we get Bad Medicine, again a little bit overplayed, but it's a good track. Born to Be My Baby, cracking track. Living in Sin, pretty solid track. Blood on Blood, fantastic. Homeward Bound Train, quite a nice rocker. Wild is the Wind, pretty mediocre for me. Love Ride Cowboy Ride, it's very short, Stick to Your Guns, sort of goes in together, great tracks. I'll Be There For You, no, don't like that one. 99 in the Shade is pretty cool. And Love for Sale, pretty good as well. Okay, next up out the box was Keep the Faith in 1992. I Believe, that's alright. Keep the Faith is stunning. Got a great bass line on that from Alex. Terrific song. Sleep When I'm Dead, again solid. In the Arms, you can keep that. Bed of Roses, not for me. If I Was Your Mother, classic track, love that. And Dry County, brilliant. Woman in Love, no. Fear's okay. I Want You, no. Getting more this sloppy romantic stuff. Blame It on the Love of Rock and Roll, corker track, and a little bit of soul. Okay, by 1995 these days, they'd sacked Alex John Such and they've brought in Hugh MacDonald. Remember, he played on Runaway, but he was never ever part of the official band. He never has been really. First track, Hey God's a nice little rocker. Something for the Pain, catchy one, don't mind that at all. And then we sort of go into some mediocre stuff. This Ain't a Love Song These Days, I just can't stand that. Lie to Me, Damned. Track rocks, great solo from Richie Sambora. Then we have My Guitar Bleeds, In My Arms, It's Getting Hard, Hearts Breaking Even, Something to Believe In, If That What It Takes, and Diamond Rings. They're all right, they're just pretty mediocre to me. Move on to the new millennium, first album out, Crush. First track, It's My Life, very very good. The other tracks are not particularly from. This is where they sort of say going down the downhill. Say the tracks are Say It's Easy, Say It Isn't So, Thank You for Loving Me, Two-Story Town, Next 100 Years, Just Older, Mystery Train, Save the World, Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars, She's a Mystery. I like that one. Got a great bass line and a nice gentle track. I've Got the Girl, One Wild Night, nice riffs. If I Could Make a Living Out of Loving You. No. They're starting to get a little, and again, 2002, Bounce comes out, Undivided, nice track, and the other tracks are just pretty dull, really. Every Day, The Distance, Joey Misunderstood, All About Loving You. When you get Hook Me Up, probably one of the heaviest tracks they ever did. Great track. Right Side of Wrong, Love Me Back to Life, You Had Me from Hello, and Bounce. Great track. Wish I'd do more of these rocker tracks. They just started to do all this sentimental dribble. Don't get me wrong, I'm not. People might think I'm a hard nut and unromantic. I'm very, quite partial to romance, but I don't like slushy songs that you have to pass a bucket round. Then we had Have a Nice Day from 2005, cool cover. Have a Nice Day, uplifting track, great guitar work from Mr. Sambora. I Want to Be Loved, another of them good tracks, pretty good. And then we just start going downhill again. Some mediocre rock, some boring ballads. Welcome to Wherever You Are, Who Said You Can't Go Home, Last Man Standing, Bells of Freedom, Wildflower, Last Cigarette. I Am is too bad, got a nice tempo. Then we get Complicated, Novocaine, Story of My Life, and Who Says I Can't Go Home. There's a duo with country star Jennifer Nettles, not for me. Lost Highway, this is abysmal. They decided to go all country on us, and it just wasn't for me. I'm a great fan of country music. Lost Highways, nah. Summertime, the only one that really rocks on this album. You Want to Make Me a Memory, Whole Lot of Leaving, isn't too bad. Reminds me of a Nickelback track, actually. We Ain't Got It Going On, no. Another Day, no. Seat Next to You, Everybody's Broken, Till We Ain't Strangers Anymore, Fater and Leanne Rhymes, too country for me. The Last Night, One Step Closer, and I Love This Town. Pretty mediocre, bang it out sort of stuff. 2009, we got The Circle, We Weren't Born to Follow, nice track this is, best one on the album. Where When We Were Beautiful, oh, pass the bucket please. Work for the Working Man, I like this. The start of it's very much Living on a Prayer. Superman Tonight, not very good. Bullet, Richie Sambora's guitar work in this is spot on, fantastic track. Then we get Thorn in My Side, Live Before You Die, Broken Promised Land, Love's the Only Rule, Fast Cars, Happy Now, Learn to Love. That's not for me. What About Now? Probably the worst album next to 2020 that they put out. There is just not one song on that album I like. They started to sound tired. So I think this is where Sambora was coming. This was the last album he played on, and there's just nothing on there that tickles my flute. I mean, the track listing is Because We Can, I'm With You, What About Now, Pictures of You, Amen, That's What the Water Made Me, Who's Left of Me, Army of One, Thick as Thieves, Beautiful World, Room at the End of the World, The Fighter. So okay, Richie departs, had enough. 2015, Burning Bridges comes out, so you've only got official members of the band of John Bon Jovi, Tico, Torres, David Bryan. Bass was done by Hugh McDowell, John Shanks did some guitar work as well. It's not very inspiring at all, this album. A Teardrop in the Sea, We Don't Run, Saturday Night Gave Me Sunday Morning. It's a song that actually Richie Sambora wrote before he left. We All Fall Down, Blind Love, Who Would Die For, Fingerprints, It's Beautiful. I'm Your Man, half decent track. And the title track, Burning Bridges. Then in 2016, they brought out This House Is Not For Sale. Playing on this was John Bon Jovi, Phil X, first album with them, Hugh McDonald, Tico, Torres and David Bryan. Now this album is pretty good. I thought this was back to form. They got it together and it was fresh. I think that's Phil X made a lot of difference, and this is a pretty good album. This House Is Not For Sale, pretty good track, strong. I really enjoy this. One of the best songs they've done in years. Living with the Ghost, again, really solid track. Knockout's not brilliant. Labour of Love, great tune, great guitar work from Phil X, absolutely spot on, really strong track. Born Again Tomorrow, Roller Coaster, New Year's Day. One of the best tracks on here is The Devil's in the Temple. Pretty catchy tune, really good. Scars on the guitar's all right. God Bless This Mess. Yeah, it's a very apt song. Reunion a bit wishy-washy, and Come On Up to Our House is okay. The trouble with Bon Jovi is I think they lost focus on what it was all about. I mean, no disrespect, but they've just sold themselves out, and I hope when they record another album, it's a proper rock album and not self-indulgent rubbish. I don't know why they went downhill. It's very sad, because they had when they was at their peak, they were unstoppable, but I don't know what happened to them. I think sometimes Bon Jovi, I remember seeing them once, and he went, "Thank you for coming to see me," and you go, "Hold on, John, we come to see Bon Jovi the band, not you, just you." Oh dear. It's very sad, because they were one of my favourite bands in the 80s and 90s. But we all move on. I've just got the memories of the good stuff. So that's Then and Now done for another week. All you got to remember, if you don't agree with me, I understand that, I get that totally. But this is purely a personal view. It's like all these shows. I'm not right, I'm not wrong. It's just opinion. But if you've got, put your comments down. I do like a good conversation. Hopefully next week I think I've got a good one for next week. But we've got one more show to do today, and that'll be Marillion Studio album covers, the Hogarth years. I was going to do the lot, and then when I started totting up, we was up to 47, so I thought, no, there's too many. So we'll just concentrate on the studio albums. We've got the update as well today. So, see you all later.